What's going on, everybody? This is the Tom Rowland Podcast, brought to you by Starbright. Starbright's the maker of incredible products to help you clean and maintain your boat. Your boat is one of your most important investments, or at least it's one of my most important investments, and I use their products to help keep that thing clean, sparkling, and keep the value as high as possible. Check out Starbright for their products. Just recently, we had a Ask Me Anything podcast. One of the questions that came up on that podcast was, what are some of the favorite episodes that you've ever had? I started thinking about how many of the 883 episodes that I've put out, which of those were the most meaningful and impactful to me. This podcast with Mark the Shark. If you don't know Mark the Shark, he is a social media sensation, I guess you could call it. And not everything that Mark the Shark does is, let's say, politically correct. Lots of people love him. Lots of people don't love him. And when I put the podcast out, I thought this is definitely going to be one of the most controversial podcasts I ever filmed. I found Mark the Shark to be a very interesting character. He does a lot of work for the homeless. On the one hand, he kills a lot of sharks. On the other hand, he tags a lot of sharks for conservation. His whole life seems to be these two ends of the spectrum. I was asked to put him on the list when I first started this podcast of someone that people would like to learn more about. And so I tracked down Mark the Shark. I went to his facility, to his place where he meets all of his charters, and go down into this office. It's covered with shark jaws. There are shark jaws everywhere. And when I first did this podcast, I brought just a handy cam with me. And I didn't have an editor at that time. I didn't have anyone to help me put this together. So I only put it out in audio. But what we're doing on this particular podcast, we're bringing back that video that I shot of Mark the Shark in his office in Miami between charters with all the shark jaws in the background. All right, love him or hate him, this is Mark the Shark, and this is episode 885. All right, here we go.
I'm Mark the Shark, and this is the Tom Rowland broadcast. Oh, sorry, podcast, right? I'm going to fuck up a lot.
All right, we're live. Man, I am sitting in a downstairs office on Miami Beach, surrounded by shark jaws.
Killer sharks.
Killer sharks. So, Mark the Shark, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, you have a big reputation. You really do. You're out there a lot. How did this all get started for you?
Oh, God, it's been a long time. Matter of fact, I just posted an old photograph on Instagram at Mark the Shark yesterday on a throwback picture. And it was one of my old trucks parked next to the boat. And I didn't even remember how long ago it was. It was like in the 80s. So it's been before that. I started shark fishing probably early 70s, maybe even late 60s when I got here.
Really?
And, the name Mark and Shark, it rhymes. So I figured jump on that before somebody else did.
Right.
So here I am,
That's
50 years later.
Pre-Jaws, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Then when Jaws came out, our shit exploded. And, we just took off with the sharks.
How old are you?
You're breaking up. Older than you.
I know you are, but I mean, you're in remarkably good shape if you've been doing this for 50 years.
I've been doing it for longer than 50. Yeah, I've been doing it for a while. It's just, it seems like just yesterday, but I feel good. I mean, I still work every day, 7 days a week. I don't know anybody who works as hard and many hours as I do in the industry. I mean, you can ask anybody.
Right.
I'm out every day, so that keeps me going.
You think you get over 300 days a year?
Oh yeah, I do on myself 450 trips.
450 trips
a year.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So pretty much every single day you're running. A lot of days you're running double days.
Doubles and sometimes triples.
Wow.
Sometimes a single, a half day, then a full day after that, and then maybe a night trip too. So it's a long day. I really don't have a life. I mean, ask my wife. I have no life. All I do is fish. I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV since MASH. Really, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the world. I have no idea. I just do my own thing, and that's it.
Yeah. So, but you are interested in social media.
Well, you have to, you've got to roll with the times, and a lot of my competition haven't done that, fortunately for me.
Right.
But social media is a way to get your name out and your brand out, and I think we do a pretty good job at it. My crew helps me with the photographs and the videos, and it takes a lot of time. Actually, it's just not waiting, by the phone and waiting for a customer to call you. You got to go out there and grab them or get their attention.
Right.
And we do that.
So early on, the monster fishing, the shark fishing was the hook for you. Like
everybody wanted to catch, a sport fish back in the day. They wanted to catch a sailfish, the glamorous fish, the pretty fish, if you will. But we wanted to catch the fish that were eating the pretty fish, like the sailfish. And no, that was a shark. So that took off pretty good.
Yeah, and then the movie.
Just exploded after the Jaws came out. There's always some mystique about the sharks too now. It's just everybody wants to either protect them or kill them, one of the two. So we're right in the middle, I think, kind of.
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to come and talk to you, because it seems like there's more to your story. You on your website says politically incorrect. We don't hang release flags. We hang fish upside down on the gallows.
Is that still there on the website? I haven't touched that in 20 years.
It's right there. Your website looks like it could use a little work. But,
yeah, it's old.
Yeah, but it's interesting because then when I dig in a little bit more, and I follow you on social media, and so I see all the videos, and then when I dig in a little bit more, you have a lot of contrary kind of messages that are out there. Like you're killing the sharks, but then you're tagging more sharks than, would you say, anyone?
Any sport fishing guy, anyway.
Yeah. So, like, how does that balance work?
Well, I like to work with a lot of the researchers and the scientists, and I help them out a lot. If they need a special kind of shark for any kind of research, I try to catch it for them. And I try to make everybody happy except for, the PETA people. But, we catch a shark and it looks like it's going to survive, which is kind of rare. And we'll tag it. If it's a protected shark, of course, we're going to tag it, let it go, measure it, and hopefully get a recapture, later on. I just got one the other day, matter of fact,
really?
A sandbar almost 2 years ago.
So what have you learned from some of the recaptures that you've seen?
I haven't learned a lot myself personally because I don't follow all that stuff. That's what I leave that to the researchers and the scientists. But most of our sharks that we catch, like the sandbars that we tag, are all going north. We always catch them. Here, then they'll go up north somewhere, North Carolina. The one we just had recaptured the other day was in North Florida a couple years later. So, they all going north. They don't hang out here. There's not a lot of food here in Miami. Mm-hmm. There's probably better places up on the coast that has more of a attraction to the sharks that holds maybe kingfish or bonitas. Miami, the last couple of years, has been depleted, if you will, on a lot of the shark food. Not like up north Florida, though. There's plenty of sharks. There's plenty of food.
Like when you say depleted of the shark food, like a species in particular?
Like the kingfish. We used to catch kingfish all the time over here. We don't catch them hardly at all anymore. Bonitas, very rare now to catch a bonita.
Really?
We used to fill our box up with bonitas.
Yeah, what do you think happened? Because there's still plenty in the Keys.
Different opinions. I think personally, ever since they dredged the cut, they made it deeper for the big ships to come in. It's been 2 years now almost. They really damaged the reef by dumping all that dredging material only about 400 feet of water. And all that silt moved down on the reef. And it killed everything. You can see some of my videos that I do. There's hardly any life on the reef anymore. There's no small fish there. There's nothing to attract the kingfish. There's nothing to hold the fish here. It's bad.
So
it's really
was
bad.
there, did anyone make a big deal about that dredging and dumping? And
They are in the process. There's some studies going on now. There's some surveyors out there. I see them a lot. And I think it's going to come down to like a class action suit, I think, basically, because it's what they did out there is unforgivable. What they did just to make the cut 10 feet deeper. They destroyed all the bait patches that were there. We can't catch any more bait anymore. It's a trickle down effect. Everything gets affected by that.
Right.
But
And so when you're seeing that, it seems like the sharks would be where the food is.
exactly.
So has that affected your shark fishing?
Well, we catch them, but we have to wait longer and fish harder, more baits. It's not like it used to be where, we get a bite every 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes we have to wait all day for one single fish.
And
It was
so
never like that.
what do you think about the overall shark population in this area right now?
I think the shark population is pretty healthy. Not too many people even fish for them like we do. The commercial fishing has, almost been gone now. So I think the sharks are fine. And, NOAA just came out with their recent study. The sharks are fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're overfished in some parts of the world, yes, but they're fine here.
What was that study? I don't know about that study.
They were saying how the sharks are sustainable now. I mean, since we've cut down on the commercial fishing and we've done a lot to protect them, they've come back.
Mm-hmm.
They're fine.
So there's an interesting balance, like to you and what you do. You're tagging so many, you're killing a lot.
Killing a lot compared to other sport fishing guys, or just commercial guys?
Well, other sport fishing guys certainly.
Yeah,
but not compared
commercial.
to a commercial guy.
I'm in the middle.
Right. And would you say that you lean more towards the conservation side, like you're killing them for conservation, or you're killing them for more trips?
I'm right in the middle. Of course, I'm into this to make money.
Yeah.
But if I thought for a second that the sharks were going to be extinct because of what I'm doing, I would stop. That's not the case, of course.
Yeah.
Our fishery here is fine. What we do is like a tip of the iceberg compared to the commercial guys. And they're killing metric tons sometimes,
Yeah. So let's talk about like what the commercial boat goes for, because, a lot of people that listen to this are sport fishing kind of guys, or they've never seen an operation like that. Like, what does that look like?
The commercial guys?
Yeah.
Again, I don't do that part, but I know a lot of friends of mine that do. And, they're making a living doing it, and they've got permits. Mm-hmm. They have a right to make a living too. But, they're killing a lot of animals. And we're killing like one or two.
Right.
So you really can't compare it. It's apples and oranges. You can't compare what we do to what they do.
Yeah.
No way.
So when people look at your social media or whatever, and there's a big shark hanging, there's another, there's this shark death on your Instagram.
Sharks die. Yeah.
Right.
Fish die.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And the sharks that we catch, half of them wouldn't even survive, even if I did decide, or the customer decided to let them go.
Right.
I mean, they just come to the boat and they're just totally exhausted. Sometimes they're tail wrapped, they're drowned. There's all kind of different scenarios that the sharks aren't going to live after you catch them.
Understood. And so I think that some people may have in the past get kind of a misunderstanding of your message. Like, you hate sharks.
I don't hate sharks. I mean, I enjoy seeing a shark swim away, actually. But if I get a big tiger shark, like I know a big bull shark, which are dangerous, I'm going to kill that shark. Because eventually that shark might eat my kid swimming at the beach. That's how I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
A sandbar shark, fine. You might get a thresher shark that doesn't have any threat to any humans because they're deep water. I'll tag them, let them go. But, bull shark, tiger shark, big hammerhead, we're most likely going to kill those.
Okay. And so then a few years ago, I guess, somebody sends you this video of them killing a shark, but in this different way.
Yeah, that was just torture. That was just totally disrespect. And, when I saw that, when they sent me that video, I was like totally shocked. I was actually fishing that day, and I showed the customers because the kids showed me, they sent it to me. So I showed the customers, they go, hey, look at this, man. And they all go, oh, wow.
Yeah. And so the video that we're talking about were these jokers dragging a shark behind the boat like a water skier almost by the tail. Like
live shark.
Yeah, live shark, and it's skipping and it ends up tearing apart, I guess. And
I've got that picture too, after.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
It was a horrible video. No. And so they
Like what I'm saying is like there's a misinterpretation of your message because those guys are like, you know who would like this video? Mark the Shark. I'm sending it to him, man. He's gonna love this. Check out what we're doing. And then there was an obvious different reaction from you. Like that's disrespect.
They just crossed the line with that. I mean, you don't torture any living creature. We never torture an animal. Never. If we're going to kill a shark, we're going to kill him, humanely and quickly. And that's it. Done. Not torture him, laughing and dragging him behind a boat 50 miles an hour. That was just like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, that got me going. So, and that's when I posted it on. And that's when it went viral.
Yeah, it goes viral. And then FWC
they got in trouble.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just, I mean, that was uncalled for. And, from what I heard from those kids, they were doing other stuff to other animals as well. So it wasn't just a one incident. So
right.
I think FWC took that into effect when they came down here. I did a couple of interviews with them after the fact too. So.
Yeah. So do you think that there's any reason to alter your message at all so that people aren't misinterpreting it?
Who's misinterpreting it?
Like those kids? Like that? No, not. I mean, don't misunderstand. I am no.
No, I understand.
PETA guy. I just kind of wonder, like those guys obviously misinterpreted the message.
Yeah, they just thought I was going to get a kick out of it and give them a thumbs up and then laugh it off like they did. But disrespectful, torturing, that kind of stuff. You just crossed the line, man.
Right.
In my book.
Yeah, and so they obviously get what they deserve because that was really bad. I mean,
yeah, that thing got worldwide attention like within hours. It's like you just don't do that,
right? To anything,
right? To any animal, any living creature, any God's creature.
And so that's where it's interesting. That's why kind of when I'm following you and kind of watching what you're doing, and I'm a charter boat captain myself, or was for a long time. It's like, I don't think this guy, there's more to this guy. Right. And then there's this,
I have a soft side. I mean, believe it or not, you can ask somebody that's really close to me that would tell you that, but probably 99.9% of people, well, they don't deserve to know that.
You keep your soft side to your closest.
Yeah. It's behind the vault.
Right. And you're raising kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 at home, and they're all love to fish, and they know the value of, life and not to torture anything. And if we're going to kill it, then we're going to put it to good use, like eat it or give it to somebody else, donate it. But it's never going to waste.
Right.
Never.
So that was the other thing I saw is that you're donating a lot of your fish to the homeless shelters. And what's your connection to the homeless shelters?
We just started doing this last year, and I kind of figured that if we're going to kill the sharks, or if a shark is dead, or if any other fish for that matter, sailfish too, if we're going to make sure it's dead, we're going to donate it and help somebody that's starving to death, like the Camilla's house in Miami. I've been dealing with them for a while now, and they really appreciate everything that we do for them because they've got hundreds and hundreds of people just sitting out there every morning looking for some kind of food. And, the sharks are fine as long as they're kept good, iced down, and I take good care of them. I gut them right away, and they're eating sharks all over the planet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a shark.
Do you eat them?
I just had a fella the other day. I gave him a shark, and he made some empanadas, local guy, and actually it was very good. I've eaten some small sharks. I haven't touched the big ones because I usually just give them to the homeless shelter. Yeah. But the little sharks are fine, man. I mean, if they know how to prepare them and they're fresh, there's nothing wrong with them.
How do you prepare them? Do you know what they're doing?
Well, I'm not a chef, so I mean, but they tell me that as long as it's fresh and iced down properly right away, it tastes like any other fish. Not a fishy taste though.
Yeah.
But it's very, very tender. And like this empanada guy the other day, it was awesome, man. I was just biting into it, and it tastes like beef almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
With him.
And so the the homeless, were you drawn to that for any particular reason, or
I
you just kind of sitting out there thinking that fish is dead and we're just going to let it sink to the bottom?
No, I've never done that. Never done that. And in Miami now, I see the homeless all over the place where I go, where I travel. And I just put two and two together, and I called a couple of, organizations, and I said, hey, would you like me to come by the kitchen and bring you some fish once in a while? And they said, absolutely. So I go in the kitchen, like I own the place now. I go there in the mornings before I go to work, and I drop off the fish, and everybody's happy. It's great. Mm-hmm. So win-win situation.
Do you get your kids involved in that?
Well, they're still kind of young, and but all my stuff that I donate to is usually in Miami, and they're up in Pompano. So, but they know what I do. They're aware of what's going on. So I'm kind of getting them ready for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think they might step in?
Well, I mean, you can't force them. The kids nowadays, you know how they are. But I know Crockett just adores fishing.
How old's Crockett?
He's just 3.
Okay.
No, he's credible. Maverick's been fishing all his life. Matter of fact, he got maybe a little bit too much of it. So I gave him the last year off. He doesn't have to fish with me anymore. He doesn't have to go on his boat.
How old is he?
He's 12.
Okay. And was he working on the boat?
Yeah.
In the summertime or whatever?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah,
is he homeschooled?
Well, no. When he's not going to school.
Right.
Like the weekends and all summer long for the last 4 or 5 years. That's his. He ought to have one of his bibs right there.
So he ought to have a pocket full of cash.
Well, it's a lot of work for him. He's not out there fishing like people think we're out there fishing. We're not fishing. We're like making sure your customers catch fish. He's not actually having the fun of actually fishing himself. So he doesn't. They don't grasp it right away. It's work right now. It's
certainly learning what a hard day's work is.
Oh yeah, he knows. And I kind of burned him out a little bit, and I was afraid of that. So I gave him the last year off, and hopefully he'll like it again. And we'll see.
He started playing sports or something in the year off.
He's a book guy, man.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he's like, I don't know where he got that from. I hated books when I was growing up, but he's so smart. He does all the stuff in school. He goes to school early and does all the PA systems. He goes into the office. So he's probably too smart to be a fisherman. I mean, and nothing, no offense about that, because I'm a fisherman too, but I think he might be too smart.
Yeah. Well, does he show interest in the PA system and stuff like that? Does he help you with your videos or do any kind of editing?
Nobody helps
me
with anything in my business.
Really?
I'm a one-man operation, man. I wish somebody did, but I like to do it the way I want to do it. And it's a certain way that I know, this little niche that I have, and nobody can do that. I mean, when I'm gone from this business, it'll be over.
Have you ever tried to bring somebody in and try to help you?
Yeah, but that's more aggravating than it's worth. Especially with the millennials, that's not happening, man. No way.
What kind of aggravation do you experience when you try to bring somebody in?
Well, first of all, somebody calls me. If I have somebody answer my phone or something, they want to talk to Mark the Shark. They don't want to talk to some guy, then some girl. And it just doesn't work out. It's just not the same, And then the videos, the people don't really know what video I want to post or how I want to post it. It's a whole different world, Mm-hmm. You've got to be involved in it. You got to be right in the middle of it. You've got to be like a conductor. You got to be like the 3-ring circus with a hat, Barnum and Bailey. You got to know exactly what everybody's doing and how it's going on. So, again, I'm a one-man show.
How does it work with your mates? Do you have long-standing mates?
Yeah. I mean, my one mate, Ryan, has been with me for 22 years, and I don't think anybody has a longer teamwork in the industry than us together. It's hard for him too, because he's married with kids, but he's devoted. He comes out here every day. He's working with me. 90% of his trips are with me. I have another guy too who's been with me 5 years, but most of the guys, man, and I couldn't do without them.
Right.
Those guys are great. They help me with the videos. They do all the stuff, and it takes a team. It's not just Mark the Shark. No way, I wouldn't be anything without those guys.
Yeah. What about your? Do you do international trips? Like people from other countries?
We'll see that picture behind you with the 49 sailfish. That's in Africa. They got a lot of heat too. I killed 49 sails in one day.
Where is it?
It's right in between all those shark jaws up there.
It's hard to see through here because it's
See them all hanging up?
literally littered with shark jaws in here.
Well, yeah, I do a lot of international stuff. I got hired a few times the last couple of years from people overseas, and I just go there. And
You go over there. I was thinking they were coming here. But
well, I do that too. But most of my overseas people are big time, big money guys, and they'll come over and they'll say, "When you want to come over to my resort and teach my guys how to do this and how to do that," and I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
So what do they want to learn? Like, do they want to learn the charter business, or do they want to learn how to fish?
Mostly how to fish.
Yeah.
Most of them really don't care about the charter business. They want to know how to fish. They want to learn the different tricks that we, learned over the years and stuff like that. And most of the guys are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But international guys come here all the time. I have a lot of international clients that fish with me all year long, all over the world.
Because on your 20-year-old website, it says, "We speak your language." And I just wondered if you spoke any other languages.
I don't, but I can have somebody here right away.
So you'll just bring a translator.
Right, exactly.
And
It
I
works
would
out good.
imagine that, like, maybe not, well, I don't know, international people probably responded to Jaws a little bit, but maybe later, like maybe you get like a second wave when Jaws kind of makes its way around the world, and now all of a sudden you're getting, Chinese, Japanese.
Oh yeah. The sharks have made a second coming, I think, with all this conservation stuff going on now, it made people aware of, with the shark finning and all this same old footage you see all the time with them throwing the sharks back in the ocean, taking the fins. People are open their eyes a little bit to sharks, and either my customers want to catch one and kill one, or they want to let go. It's just they're right in the middle too. So I get both sides.
Mm-hmm. So the tagging studies that you've done, is there a particular organization that you work with?
NOAA, National Marine Fisheries Service.
Yeah. And you'll do like what type of tags? Do they give you like the satellite tags for some sharks, or
No satellite tags. Those are expensive. That's only on
really
TV
expensive
stuff. Right. We do all the manual tags, the little capsule that you unscrew and you take out the information, and then they give you a reward. They give you a hat or something like that when you get it.
I got boxes of hats in
boxes
here?
of hats. But
Jesus, look at all these pictures.
but a lot of people like to get involved in the shark tagging stuff. When they see a tag, they go, "Wow, this is pretty cool." So most people will report it.
Yeah.
So
And then
it works out good for us because then we know where they're going.
how many do you estimate that you've tagged in your career?
Oh man, I couldn't even begin. Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands.
Oh yeah.
So that's, you break that down to a year, 300, you're doing 450 trips in a year. If you tag 2 sharks a day, that's 900 sharks.
A year.
Right.
But
And then-
sometimes we catch half a dozen sharks sometimes. Oh yeah, and we'll tag them.
Yeah.
But tagging and killing. What are we going to do? It's all up to the client, So if the client wants to let it go, we'll let it go.
Interesting. Even if it's one of those big tigers.
Well, if it's a big tiger, I know the big tiger's dying. He's dying.
Is there a time of the year that you're seeing more of the big tigers than others?
We're seeing more tigers now than I ever have seen in my career.
Yeah.
Used to be off Miami, it's 90% hammerheads and all scalloped. Now it's all big graders.
Yeah. Why? We
We just got one 900 the other day.
A 900?
Yeah.
How long is that fish?
That was like 13 and a half, I think it was.
Because I caught one at Long Key Bridge. We were doing a show. I caught one down there, and I've never lifted one out of the water to know what the weight is. And so I have this picture of this fish. Everybody's like, "Wow, how big is that?"
In the water, it's
and
different.
I have no idea because, but it was 13 and a half feet long.
Yeah, that's at least probably 700, 800.
Yeah.
And a female, they get really fat. So
Yeah,
depends.
this thing was
Yeah.
as big around as the boat. It seemed like.
That was a grader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greater. One of those tarpon eaters.
Exactly.
That
They love tarpon, yeah. And stingrays.
yeah.
I see them come in the cut here all the time chasing stingrays around.
Really?
The big graders, yeah.
Like just a southern stingray, or like a
No, just a mud ray or sometimes an eagle ray.
Right.
They'll be chasing them out of the water, a stingray jumping out of the water. And then hammerheads are fast, man.
Yeah.
People don't realize how fast a hammerhead is.
Well, they have to be super fast. If tarpon are their
Exactly.
number one thing that they like to eat,
Right.
that's like it's like a tarpon eats mullet. right? So a tarpon has to be fast because a mullet's fast, and that's it's an interesting fish, the hammerhead. But why do you think that the scalloped hammerheads are not around as much as they? Or you're saying that they're almost all scalloped now?
No, they're almost all graders.
Okay, yeah.
The scallops we used to catch almost 90% of the time. We never used to get a grader. Now it's all graders, and it's all tigers.
There's more tigers in the Keys too now, for sure.
Okay, I'd probably go with that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of food down there too.
Mm-hmm.
They're eating on the reef fish. They're eating a lot of snappers and the groupers, and a lot of these guys that come out here and fish the wrecks. They can't get a grouper off the wreck without getting eaten by a big tiger.
Right.
So when I catch them, the guys are going, "Thanks a lot." I got guys that divers that come out here and dive, free divers, really good free divers, and they'll see one of my posts and they'll say, "Thanks for killing that bull shark. That thing was harassing me on the reef for last year or something." And these guys make a living spearfishing, so they like what we do. I mean, they know that. They'll even call me and they'll say, "Hey, Mark, there's a couple of bull sharks on this wreck. Can you come over here and get one or two?" And we do. We help them out.
Yeah. Well, the bull shark is arguably the worst for being in the water with them. I mean, I would say
that's going to die.
I certainly don't like to swim with them.
Right.
That's interesting. So, as far as fishing for the hammerheads, is there a difference in the way that you fish for a scalloped or a greater hammerhead?
No, not
just
really.
All basically,
it's all the same. I mean, the scallop hammerheads are a little deeper water normally, off the reef, like 200 feet. The graders come in shallow. I mean, you'll see them on the beach even. When I started fishing, I used to catch the big graders on the beach. Never caught a scallop on the beach. But the big graders come in and look for the stingrays. They look for all the, little fish and stuff.
Yeah, the grader seem to get, I mean, we see them like on the tarpon flats. And they're, they got not just their fin out of the water, but their backs out of the water.
Exactly. They can barely swim in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
They're a different fish, I mean, but it's an incredible predator, the way that they can catch a tarpon.
It's amazing. I mean, when you see them, how fast. I saw one the other day trying to catch a turtle.
Huh.
And I never seen a turtle swim that fast.
Wow.
The turtle was flying. And the hammerhead was right behind him, man. Normally, the tigers are eating the turtles.
Right.
And I've never seen a hammerhead chasing a turtle before. But he got away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about great whites? More and more people are seeing the great whites in the Keys. I'm sure
in the Keys,
they have the O-Search people tagging, and you can follow the tracks they're coming through here. And with all the shark fishing that you're doing, it would seem like you would be seeing some.
No,
not seeing them.
Not one. Believe me, if I did, I'd probably be in trouble.
Yeah. Well,
I'd catch them, but again, I can't.
Yeah, that's a protected species, so you have to release that for sure. Tag it.
Right.
But it's interesting that. Maybe they're just smarter. They're like,
I
not
don't know.
that boat.
People say that. There goes a striker one over there. Just try to avoid that. But no, we never came across one ever. And I'm out there so much too.
Really? Even in the early days, you were not coming across them?
Never
seen one.
Yep, never.
But they are. I mean, like in
the Keys.
Yeah, they're on the humps
with the jacks, the tunas.
Yes, and just in yellowtail spots and other places.
Sure.
I mean, people are having them come up and eat their chum bag, throwing lures at them, and they're chasing the lures, and I mean, there's all kinds of crazy videos. Sure. But and I always just kind of wondered if they were just always there, and now that there's some proof and justification that they've been tagged and they're following this path and they came right through
people
here.
Are looking like crazy
and then
for
people
them.
Are like,
yeah,
I saw a big shark, and now it's like let's get closer to that thing.
Let's see what it is.
Let's see what it is, and then it's actually a great white, and you get a confirmation. Like somebody, like if you get the boat over there. I mean, the videos that I've seen, the thing's coming right to this. There's no mistaking it. It's 100%. A great white.
You can tell it's not a bull shark. It's not going to be a tiger shark. It's
Yeah,
but,
I've never seen one.
We've never seen one in Miami, and we don't have those good spots like the Keys has. As far as the hump areas, I used to fish the Keys years ago, and we used to catch big makos on the hump all the time. But we don't have those humps here. I mean, if we had them here, it would be great for shark fishing.
Mm-hmm. Do you see makos up here?
Yeah, we catch them. Yep, a little deeper water. We catch them with the big eye threshers.
Mm-hmm.
But they put the threshers on a list too now. And I don't know why, because nobody's catching them. Nobody was catching them but us. I would catch one a day.
I hear about sword fishermen, deep dropping and catching them occasionally now. So when you're going out and I'm sure it's different with whatever clients, but let's just say you're going out to catch the biggest shark you can catch. What does your day look like?
Well, I mean, most of our customers, they'll want to mix it up. They're not going just for shark.
Right.
So we kind of mix it up. We'll go for the sailfish, and I catch as many sailfish as anybody, and we'll mix it up, and then we'll if we catch a shark, then we'll go into a little shallower and try to catch something else. They'll say, let's go catch something like a sailfish. Let's go catch some kingfish. Let's go catch some bottomfish. We try to mix it up for the customers.
And so, if you had somebody that just wanted sharks, or when it comes time to the shark fishing, are you drifting? Are you anchored? No,
we're power drifting the current. Okay, so say the current's going north, which it's supposed to go north all the time, but it hasn't been lately. The current's going north, so I'm into the current. Okay, and all the baits, I'm walking 6 baits around. It's hard. You're not just drifting. I'm in one area. Say I'm 300 feet of water. Mm-hmm. I'm putting that bait down in 300 feet of water. Actually, like 295. You don't want the bait in the bottom because you get hung up sometimes. So I got the bait 5 feet off the bottom. Okay, and I'm walking the other baits around the surface. So it's not just sitting there and drifting like these guys in these tuna shows. Mm-hmm. They're just sitting there drinking beer. They're not. I'm operating a crane almost. I'm in and out of gear every 5 seconds trying to keep that bait where it's supposed to be. People don't know. The guys that I work with, my crew, knows how hard it is to stay in that one area. When there's a lot of current, it's super hard.
Right.
You can't leave the wheel for 1 minute. You get everything all tangled up.
So basically, you're saying you're going into the current. So it's kind of like you're anchored, but you're under power, and you're keeping this bait.
The baits, say the current's going north. The boat is facing south.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm like into the wind, into the wind, but the current, and everything is behind the boat, swimming naturally.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I take it out of gear for 1 second, then all those baits are going to come back to the boat.
Right.
So I have to have a happy medium. I have to bump it in and out of gear and walk everything around and keep that bait on the bottom. It's got to be straight up and down. Like if we're fishing for threshers are only one spot usually. 90% of them are like 100 feet off the bottom. They're not on the bottom. They're about 100 feet off the bottom. You got to keep that bait right there. You can't pull the bait. If you pull any baits, bait's going to come up. It's out of that thermocline area.
Huh.
You're not going to get a bite.
Wow.
And sometimes we even bounce the bait on the bottom. Sometimes we'll bounce it because it sends a signal out.
Right.
We got a big lead.
Yeah.
Everything hits the bottom. Boom. Boom.
Is that going to be a breakaway lead or?
No, it's on the mainland.
Yeah.
And we'll when we get the fish up to the boat, then we'll just unclip it. But that noise I found over the years attracts them too. Mm-hmm. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So the idea in that setup is that you're fishing straight up and down. You're maintaining the boat in a situation so that the bait is, despite
Straight
the
up and
current
down.
and the wind or whatever, you're operating the boat so that you're staying in one particular spot.
Well, one depth.
Right. One depth.
We're actually moving with the current.
Right.
Okay. Where the whole operation is moving.
Right.
But we're keeping everything in line.
Yeah.
We're walking like 6 dogs and keeping this. And the primary bait is on the bottom. So that's the most important bait. If we're shark fishing, that's the most important bait. Everything is worked around that one bait.
Mm-hmm. And so that technique and that strategy is going to work for all the different types of sharks.
Yeah.
And so the idea with some on the surface and one down below is that you're working the water column, or it is almost acting as if almost like a chum too, like the scent's going back there from these baits.
Yeah. If you're fishing, say, a big tuna fish, you want all your scent coming from one area. Mm-hmm. And, if you got the current going north, it's all going in a straight line.
Right.
If you're zigzagging back and forth 20, 30, 40, 50 feet, that shark's never going to find that bait.
Right. He's going to get a whiff of it, and then it's going to be gone.
Yeah, you can't find it.
Right, exactly.
Right. So most of the sharks are coming from the north, and they're just coming down, moving south. So he gets a whiff of the bait. Most of the sharks are staying the same depth. They're not going to be wandering around. And they just come up the line, and there's your bait. On my cameras that we use now, you can see the sharks 100 feet away, just swimming. And then they'll see the bait.
These are cameras on the line?
Yeah, we have a camera on the actual bait.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is Does that break away from the?
No, the camera stays with us.
Camera stays with you
all the way to the boat.
Okay,
it's a hook eye lens.
Yeah,
it's really nice. It's cool. We just started doing this year,
and you can see that from 100 feet away.
Well, if it's clear,
yeah.
If the visibility is good, yeah, but the visibility has been crap lately too.
So on a good visibility day, are you being surprised at all with what you're seeing on that camera, like how the shark is finding that bait and attacking it, or is it? Like, what are you seeing?
I've learned a lot over the last year just looking at like the hammerheads. I've had one the other day that just was circling around the bait, just bumping it with his head, bumping it, and I could see on the bridge that we're getting a bite. The rod's going like this, but nothing's happening. It's just boom, 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 boom. And I look at the camera and I go, he's just playing with the bait. He's just toying with it. Okay, and after a while. If I take it away from him a little bit, if I go ahead with the engines a little bit and take it away, kind of piss him off, then he'll just get mad and then he'll eat it. It's weird.
Yeah,
I learned a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when you see something with your own eyes, whether you're down diving or whatever, and you're like sometimes on our TV show we'll have a diver down and the same kind of thing's going on, and he comes up and he's like, dude, the thing was trying to bite it and you took it away from him.
Right.
And it's like, well, how would you know on the surface? You have all of these things going on in your mind, like, well, maybe it wasn't a shark, could have bumped into something. I don't know, it could have been something. But now when you see it, that changes the way that you fish for it.
Sure.
Because after you see a couple of bumps, and let's just say the camera, you didn't have a camera on that line or whatever. Now it's like, well, bump forward a little bit.
Right. It might be a hammerhead because that's their method. They'll bump it and you'll see it go boom, boom, like a thresher shark. I know for a fact that thresher sharks whack it with their tail. So you'll see on the rod, you go boom, like that, and then nothing will happen. He whacked it with his tail. He's coming around again, then he'll eat it. First they whack it and they kill the bait. And then they'll whack it. So the different sharks have different characteristics. Like a tiger shark might play with it, just take couple little bites. I just looked at a video this morning from a tiger shark we caught the other day, and he was just taking little bites. And you go, why are you taking little bites of a big fish? He's got a gigantic mouth. He could just engulf it, right? But they just like to play with it, I think. They just like to toy with it. And then, and then eventually they'll eat it.
Yeah.
But you could see it, the rod going bum, 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 bum. That's probably a tiger shark. And, when you see it on the camera, it's so cool.
Right.
Because you're always guessing. But when you see it with the camera, then you put two and two together and you go, wow, this is pretty cool.
Has that really helped your hookup percentage, or has it changed anything in the way that you're fishing?
Well, sometimes I'll drop back if I think it's something, and I'll just drop back to him a little bit and let him eat it.
And you're obviously showing your mates and everything.
Oh, yeah, they see it. Yeah.
They're as excited about it as
it's
you are.
It's really cool. I mean, it's a lot of work with the video because we've lost a lot of cameras over the years, and thankfully that hook eye they give us cameras all the time, but we're going to get some great footage.
Right.
Nobody's putting the camera down 400 feet, so we'll sometimes we get a shark eating the camera. The other day I had a tiger shark trying to eat it.
Yeah.
Thank God he didn't eat it, but he was just pecking at it. And finally he went for the bait. But yeah, it's a cool area that we haven't explored yet, which is neat,
Yeah. The deeper. Now, what about going deeper? Like, is there?
Well,
do you
cameras,
see any reason? I mean, maybe without the camera. Do you see any reason, like when you're seeing, sword fishing has exploded, more people are sword fishing, they're catching lots of swordfish.
They should stop that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And what's your opinion of that?
That's commercial fishing. Pressing a button. I'm way against that. There's no skill in that. You're dropping a bait, 1,500. You're waiting for the rod tip to go in the water, or the boom, whatever they're using now, and you're pressing a button. That's not sport fishing, not in my book.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they are. I mean, a lot of those guys are turning that into, swordfish. I've got a permit. Swordfish is a fish that I can sell.
I agree, but it's commercial fishing. Doing rod and reel. I mean, don't be pounding your chest and tell me how you brought a swordfish up and you had to change your finger twice. You're not impressing me.
See, this is these contrary messages I just find you very interesting in this way. And I mean, I don't disagree. No, I wouldn't say that you're wrong. I would say that people have varying opinions. I would think
there's no opinion. I mean, it's commercial fishing. You're pressing a button.
It is.
I mean, there's no skill.
Right.
There
well,
really isn't.
the skill, I guess, could be argued to find them.
Okay.
And to create the rig that's not going to get tangled, and to
That's easy. Oh, dropping that down. It's been doing that for years. Dropping the bait down. That's easy. But just to waiting for the bite and pressing a button. Oh wow! You better change fingers now. This is the tough one. It's like, dude, raw and real. Okay.
yeah.
I mean,
I guess that the argument against that could be: listen, you're going to drop 1,800 feet and reel that up. You're going to have time for 2 drops a day, right? Whereas if you have
not really.
Maybe if you have an electric reel, you could do 4 drops a day or 6 drops a day or 8 drops a day. And you would have as you're learning this and trying to figure this out, the more drops you can do and the more bites you get and the more you can start to put all this together, the more you could maybe have confidence in dropping and reeling it yourself, right? Because you're going to go out someplace and it's going to be, if you don't have all day, you might have one or 2 drops.
Oh, that's too bad. But these are the same sport fishing guys, quote unquote, that point the finger at me for killing a sailfish. Okay.
Yeah.
These are the same guys that go out there and deep drop and press a button. Same guys. So don't be preaching to me about killing a sailfish when the last time I checked, there's probably a lot more sailfish in the world than swordfish. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And don't forget, I'm not fishing. My customers are fishing. Some of these guys came and hold a rod. Okay, I'm not sitting there pressing a button. It's no skill. There's no challenge. Just finding where the fish is. Eventually, you're going to catch them. Just keep dropping.
Yeah.
I mean, it's commercial fishing. Nothing against commercial fishing, but I'm just saying, don't be pounding your chest and flying a flag you caught a swordfish. I mean, to me, I don't know. That's just me. I'm old school.
This is exactly why I was interested in talking to you, because I knew you would have different opinions on a lot of different things. And I feel like I don't like infighting between groups. Like fishermen, when we infight, like sport fishing against somebody that kills something, commercial fishing against recreational fishing, the other bigger, larger groups win.
I agree.
Divide and conquer.
Right.
So I believe that if you see somebody that's doing something that is different than you do, and you should have a conversation, should talk to them, should understand where they're coming from. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to come and talk to you, because I want to and then I start digging into your story and I'm like, there's more to this guy than, he's tagging more sharks. Maybe he's killing more sharks. I knew you were going to have different opinions on different things. I didn't really expect the swordfish thing, but now that I think about it, it's certainly not out of character or inconsistent with your other.
I'm a sport fishing guy, totally,
right.
And I have nothing against commercial fishing, but don't call that sport fishing.
Right.
Call it what it is. It's commercial fishing.
Gotcha.
You might as well use a fucking net. Same thing.
What about tournaments?
Oh, don't get me started on tournaments. They are the most evil things in the planet. They're the reason why we have no bait left, too. These guys come down here and they fish our bait spots. They go back up north and they sell all the bait. To who? Tournaments. To catch and release tournaments, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually.
The catch and release sailfish, how many die?
I don't know.
Percentage-wise. Nobody knows. But I could tell you, I've been doing this for 50 years. Half of them are going to die. You catch them with live bait, they're going to die. Okay? They're gut hooked. I don't care what you say. They're exhausted. There's a number of things that can happen to a sailfish after you catch them with live bait. Those guys are targeting one specific fish, sailfish. Okay? In the process, they're killing every bait around. Okay? They're taking our herring. We can't even catch herring anymore out here. They're catching our herring, and they're selling for $10 a piece up north in a tournament.
$10 a piece probably means that there's no herring up there either.
Oh, they wiped them out years ago. That's why they come down here. And they're targeting, maybe 100 boats in a tournament, maybe sometimes more, targeting one kind of fish. You don't think that hurts the population? Think about it. If you really care about the sailfish like these guys say they do, guess what? You don't fish for them. Why do you put them in harm's way? They're not going to tell you that half of them die. No one's going to tell you that. But I could tell you, light bait and light tackle, yeah, they're going to die.
What about
And that's why we
hooks?
can't catch sailfish here anymore. I
What
used to
about-
catch 5 sailfish a day,
And down to what?
down to 1, maybe. I've never seen sailfishing this bad, ever.
And that has a lot to do with a lot of the different factors that we talked about: the dredging, the bait.
The dredging is the bait, right? But the tournaments are killing all our sailfish, 100%.
And today, the tournaments are popular, so there's more.
There's more money in it.
And
I get it.
It's obviously a moneymaker for someone. Otherwise, they wouldn't
Exactly.
be having another tournament and another tournament. So somebody's making some money off of it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when somebody makes some money off of something, typically they try to replicate that in either another area or another time of the year or whatever.
Sure.
So that's interesting.
But you got so many boats in a small area targeting one kind of fish. You're going to hurt that population. It's just common sense. It's not rocket science. And it shows right now because we can't catch any more sailfish. It's proven. I mean, I'm not some angel. I've killed 10,000 sailfish in my life, but I'm not raising a flag upside down and pounding my chest when I come back, and that sailfish is sitting in the fucking bottom or getting eaten by a shark. No, I'm killing them. Okay, but don't say you released it, because that's bullshit. Who believes that shit? Not me. Not my crew.
Do you think circle hooks have made it any better?
Not really. No, not really. How many sailfish these guys catch are gut hook sailfish? Live bait.
I don't know.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, they're taking them out of the water. You're bringing them to the boat. Those fish are like in shock when they get to the boat. What happens to them? Sharks might eat them. I mean, that's just on a good scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Live bait, if you want to fish for a sailfish, do it the old-fashioned way then. If you want to pound your chest at the dock, go trolling for them. Let's see how good you are. Let's catch them trolling. Make the sailfish tournaments all trolling. And then maybe we'd have the live bait come back. Give it a little rest. Give it a rest for a couple of years. There's no more bait left anymore. There's nothing. Why? Tournaments. Every live boat tournament has got 1,000 baits in their well. They come over here, they got big pens. Everyone's filled. When they leave the tournament, after 3 days, the bait's all dead. That's it. It's gone. It's indiscriminate killing of everything. Tournaments. So
Disguised, in your opinion, disguised as conservation.
it's anything but conservation. Anything but. Across the board, killing everything.
So that obviously really gets under your skin.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
because those same people, in a lot of, not all of those people, obviously, but some of those people are
Pointing the finger
accusing
at
you
me.
and pointing the finger and saying you're the worst
For
thing.
killing one sailfish.
For
killing one sailfish. Yeah. Biggest hypocrites on the planet.
Do you think that? I mean, why do you think that is? Is that ignorance? Is that lack of experience? Is that just a super opinionated deal, or what? Why do you think that is?
All the above. And
Like maybe if they had been doing it as long as you had, they would see some of the things that you are so
Yes.
obvious to you.
I mean, I go out there, 450 times a year. I see a lot. A lot of these normal guys are out here fishing 2 or 3 tournaments a year. That's their whole thing. But it's not. It's just not right what they've done with the tournaments. They've made it into like a big hero thing, and it's killed everything around here.
So how do you interact with these people? Because obviously you have to. I mean, you don't.
I only have to interact with like 3 people, and they're at home. It's not how I made my reputation or my business. But most of the people, they'll agree with me. It's just the heroes out there that I'm a big target, so it makes it easy. I'm a Darth Vader out there, so it makes it easy to point a finger at me.
Do you like being the Darth Vader?
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
When did you embrace that you're going to be the Darth Vader?
Oh man, long time ago when we started killing the sharks, and it wasn't popular back then either. But
it wasn't. Like, how long ago was it not popular? Because that's kind of what Jaws was all about.
Well, you're talking way back, yeah. But I'm talking about the last 15 years.
Okay,
it's become unpopular, but now it's coming back where it's becoming popular again. So it's doing a cycle, But with all the shark TV shows out there, the Shark Week stuff, which is all bullshit anyway, it's just made the people that catch sharks, made them the villains, But it's sad because the sharks are plentiful, and rod and reel, they'll never hurt the population with rod and reel. That's all we do. Longliners, it's another world.
Right. I mean, many people would argue that there are more sharks right now in certain areas than ever.
Oh yes, I agree totally.
Like your spearfishing guys that you said, the sport fishing guys on the wrecks, lots of places in the Keys. I mean, you go down there and you start catching a fish, and you might get one or two,
right? And
then it's kind of like, now we're feeding the sharks.
It's out of control. Some places
we need to move. Yep. Because we're doing nothing but feeding the sharks. Like, right. It's a great spot. There's obviously tons of yellowtail here, but we can't catch a single one.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that's another like ethical, moral decision of, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to catch yellowtail, but we are feeding sharks.
So they can't.
Do you stay? Do you leave? Do you whatever? Because once you leave, you've established that chum line. You've put 20 pounds of chum in the water. We're going to pick this up and go do this somewhere else and probably feed the sharks?
They're all waiting. You ring the dinner bell there, and they're just sitting around waiting all day. You don't have a chance sometimes, and that's what pisses these guys off. They're making a living trying to catch these fish, and the sharks are sitting there, and that's why you get calls all the time. Come on over to this wreck. Come on over here. Catch these fish.
I would imagine that one of the biggest things that you have to deal with on a daily basis is getting your bait for the next day.
Yes.
Now, and when I say bait, it's going to be Jack's or Bonita or whatever you use. I don't know. What's your preferred bait?
We used to use Bonitas when they were here. It's just so hard to catch now. Kingfish, Bonitas, whatever we can catch, Jack's.
So are you basically catching all your bait, or are you getting help from other people? Or?
Oh, no. I mean, I've got some friends in a business that if I see them out there, they'll drop a bait off or something. They'll just hand me a bait. But we normally spend a half hour or an hour or so trying to catch what most charter boats just fish for all day.
Right. Like Bonitas or...
Exactly. Kingfish, where we can get trolling, with the planers and stuff like that. Maybe little tunas.
Barracudas.
The barracudas are okay. But even the barracudas are almost wiped out now.
Yeah. It's gotten way harder.
The barracudas are almost gone, man. That was a guaranteed fish for us for years. Guaranteed. Not anymore. There's no more guaranteed fish. Not here.
What's your opinion of like what I discussed before about the infighting between recreational fishermen, maybe even sport fishing guides and tournament people and people like yourself? And do you see that divide and conquer is exactly what somebody like PETA would hope for?
Oh, I'm sure PETA likes the in-house fighting stuff, but it's all really friendly fighting. It's nothing like we're going to kill somebody. It's all, a lot of it's professional jealousy, whatever. They need somebody to target, but I don't take it really personal. But when I can't catch a bait from my customers, then I take it personal. And that's why I'm not a big tournament fan.
Yeah. Well, I can see, I listen, I understand when you explain your point the way that you did, I completely understand.
You can't argue with that.
You can't?
No.
I mean,
It's a fact.
It really bothers you that you know what's going on, and those same people are pointing the finger at you. Often.
Yeah, it's like, is there a double standard here? Am I missing something? I mean, you guys are killing, each boat's killing 10 sailfish a day on a tournament. I'm killing one.
Do you think maybe that part of that is that they don't believe that they are?
Probably in their heart, they probably think they're doing, the sailfish good by releasing them. But if you talk to any really good fisherman that knows what happens to a live bait caught sailfish, they'll tell you probably not going to survive.
But what if it's a live bait caught sailfish where the circle hook's right in the corner
Trolling.
of the mouth, just like perfect
Trolling.
Well, I mean, you catch plenty of sailfish on pilchards, and you watch the fish eat it, and you set the hook, and it's right there, and that fish is.
That's in the real world best case scenario. Yeah, there's some fish that survive. Absolutely, I'm talking about most of them, the majority, live bait, gut hooked, not going to survive. I don't care what you say. Something's going to eat them, or they're going to sink to the bottom. That's a fact. That's how it is. That's the real world. And what about the live bait? Doesn't count.
Doesn't count as far as what you're killing.
Yeah. Nobody cares about a goggle eye because it's not pretty. Doesn't a goggle eye have as much right to live as a sailfish? I don't know. Maybe it's me. It's a life. You're killing one thing to kill another. It's like a hunter. I don't see any hunters going out there using a live animal to catch something else, but we do it in the fishing world. It's hypocritical. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
and can understand where you're coming from. I really can.
You're killing a live fish in the process. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of you'll see the same thing happen in freshwater fishing, like the fly fishing guys for trout. Absolutely would never kill a fish ever.
No, I get that.
Not one fish ever is going to die, but they would be horrified if they saw somebody walk out there, make 5 casts, catch one fish, and take it home for dinner.
Yeah,
but they're fishing all week, catching hundreds of fish. And
releasing them.
Well,
that's a different world too.
Some are going to die though.
Yes.
But they don't, I've been one of these people. It's like to watch someone kill something, but he was only on the river for 10 minutes.
Right.
He caught one fish. He's taking it home and he's going to eat every part of that fish.
Exactly.
Like, is there really something wrong with that?
No.
And that's a battle.
That's you're not going to win that battle.
Like
with those guys.
These people are staying completely within the law. It's 100% legal what they're doing, and it can be entirely really controversial because the fly guys don't like that. And I see world. That where you're coming from, it's a very similar argument in a different environment with different fish.
Yeah, I mean, just don't preach catch and release when you know that half of those fish are going to die. Don't preach that. Just say, hey, we hope the best for the sailfish. We hope for the best. Don't say, oh, we released it. Okay? Because in the real world, it's not going to happen.
Tell me about your chair on your boat.
I got a new one coming. I got a brand new one coming, actually, by Lee's. Yeah, it's hanging over the side. People love it. They love to get in there, and you're right on top of the action. You're not in the back in the cockpit somewhere. You can't see what's going on. You're right on top of a big fish. It's really cool.
How did you come up with that design?
Back in the old days, I watched this movie, a Hemingway movie with what was his name? Bogart?
Oh, yeah. Humphrey Bogart.
Exactly. Yeah. And he was a captain down in the Keys. And he had an old wooden boat, and he had a chair that was pretty far back. It was up on top of the motor mount back in the day. And it was pretty close to the transom. I go, wow, that's not a good idea. The customer's out of the way, and you can walk around. And so I just took it to the next level and just put it over the side of the boat where it worked out really good because people love that chair. And, you can feel every tug of the fish. If you got a big shark on, you can feel everything. You're right on top. You feel every crack of the head. And then when the shark comes up, you can almost touch him. You're right on top of everything. And it's a different sensation. It's really what fishing is all about. When you're fishing a normal, conventional charter boat, you're in the back of the cockpit. You can't see what's going on. You can't even see over the covering boards. You're just sitting there winding. You are part of the action now. You are in the shit on that chair. It's awesome. And people fight to get in there.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. It would seem like it would be even more efficient, as you get a big shark coming.
Or any fish.
With inexperienced people. Well, I mean, I don't care how experienced you are. You're locked into this chair and this rod, and the fish goes under the,
Right.
What do? The mate has to help,
Well, now all we do is just turn the chair. The mate reaches up and grabs the leader. It's so easy. It's a no-brainer, man. The other way, you got to work around the guy. You got to work around the rod. It's a total nightmare. It's not cool.
Have you seen anybody make another chair like that and put it on their boat?
Not that I'm aware of. No, it's not for everybody because it can be a little dangerous if you don't,
getting in it or getting out of it.
Just the whole thing, the whole operation, man. I mean, it's not for everybody. Again, I've had that chair 40 years, so I know how to operate the boat with the chair. But I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. That's my trademark anyway. Don't even think about it.
That's awesome, man. Well, just as I thought, it would be a very interesting conversation. I really appreciate you sitting down and, just sharing your side of your story, like what you do, man.
Come out with us one time, and
I'd love to.
My pleasure talking to you. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell people how they can find you and go monster fishing.
Instagram at Mark the Shark, marktheshark.com website, which I haven't touched in years. You probably know that already. But the Instagram is what we post daily stuff on it at Mark the Shark.
Yeah.
Or 305-759-JAWS. That's my phone number.
And 759 JAWS is right.
We got some JAWS.
There are so many. So you can just what is this one?
That's a tiger. You see the teeth, how they're shaped.
Yep.
They're actually made to cut through shells of what? Turtles.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I love turtles, by the way. My son's got a couple of turtles in his room.
Yeah.
So when I see a tiger shark and I cut them open, there's always usually some tiger fragments in there. I've even caught whole turtles. I've caught them out of stomachs.
How do you think the tiger catches? I mean, tiger's not a fast shark.
It's unbelievable. He must sneak up on him or something.
Think they sneak up on him when you'll see the turtle often just kind of resting on the bottom, laying there, almost sleeping.
Right.
And I could see a tiger come up and take a flipper off,
Yep.
and then maybe chase the thing down.
Then he can't swim anymore.
5 miles, and then take another flipper off, and then that's kind of how I always thought that they would do it.
I've got whole turtles, not even a scratch on them,
really,
in the stomach of tigers. Not even a scratch. How did that happen? It's weird, but they must have some technique.
Right, because those little turtles, man, they can fly.
Yeah,
they are very, very fast.
It's amazing. I mean, maybe the tigers are faster than we think.
Yeah. They have it in them.
Yeah.
But they just don't show it often.
Right.
Yeah.
They're cool. I like tigers. They're one of my favorite sharks.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite shark?
The tiger, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just so cool with their stripes. They're just a beautiful animal. I love to kill them.
How could we find a better way to stop than that?